Hi, welcome to Physics 4C. Just imagine you guys have made it all the way through Physics 4A, through Physics 4B, and now we're going to wrap things up. We're going to complete the whole series here in Physics 4C. My name is Alan Nickel. I'll be the instructor for the course, and I'm really looking forward to working with all of you during this course. Physics 4C, one of my favorite courses. I guess I like them all. But a lot of really interesting topics. We're going to start off looking at light, both sort of classical properties of light as well as quantum light. We'll be looking at special relativity, and then after looking at kind of the underpinnings, the foundations of quantum mechanics, we'll take those and apply them to atoms, molecules, nuclei. Some really interesting stuff ahead. I'm guessing that you guys probably have worked from this textbook, but a textbook for our course will be Giancolli's 4th edition. We'll be going over this some more in just a second here with the syllabus and the schedule and such. So we have our mascot up there behind us. That's Laney the eagle. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's take a look at the syllabus and the schedule for the course. All right, let's take a look at the syllabus and the schedule. So here we are in our lecture room. This is where I have, this is the room that I've been using to record all the videos for the course. And it's, it's a converted garage at my home that I'm working with. So welcome to Physics 4C. Again, my name is Alan Nickel. I'm the instructor, and I'm looking forward to Physics 4C. 4C's got a lot of really interesting topics. So I kind of think of just an overview with Physics 4C. We're going to be looking at light, at special relativity. We'll be doing some sections on quantum physics. And then once we get kind of the foundation of quantum physics in place, we'll use that to look at light, at atoms, molecules, and nuclei. Now I kind of think of this as in many ways, Physics 4C is getting down to kind of the fundamental nature of nature. What is the world made out of? What does the universe consist of? And so a lot of this we're going to be looking at are fundamental particles and their properties. So I'm thinking, it's worth getting a fundamental particle list out here. Protons, neutrons, electrons. A lot of times students are pretty familiar with those. Protons and neutrons, as you may know, are closely related particles. They make up the nucleus in atoms, or just nuclei in general. And protons are the charged version, neutrons are the neutral version. They have very, very similar masses. Again, in some ways they're kind of the same particle. There's also electrons and neutrinos. Now everybody knows about electrons. Maybe you guys haven't heard as much about neutrinos, but electrons and neutrinos are kind of the same particle. The electrons are the charged version, neutrinos are the neutral version. And then photons. So light, turns out, consists of particles also. They're referred to as photons. That's the name we have for the particles that make up light. And what we find when we start looking at quantum physics is that the ideas or the properties that we understand from quantum physics apply to all these particles. So we'll see that there's really kind of a unification or kind of a systematic approach that we can take for all of these different types of particles in understanding them. So it just turns out that we're going to start off with light and looking at photons, and we'll get started with that with the Chapter 32 videos that you see. So anyway, welcome to Physics 4C. Let's take a look at the syllabus. So here I've got the syllabus for the course listed, and the first thing that I want to point out is that this entire course will be taught online. So everything is going to be done remotely. When we talk about having lectures or labs or office hours, everything is going to be through ConferZoom. And you can access ConferZoom from Canvas, right? So you guys are already Canvas experts, and I have taken everything within the course. I've made videos for the lectures, I've made videos for the lab exercises, and those have all been recorded. Those have been placed in YouTube. You can watch them on YouTube if you search Laney College Physics. But you can also access those through your Canvas shell. So if you go into Canvas for the course, what you can do is the links to all of those lecture videos, the links to all of the lab videos, they're all going to be included within Canvas. So everything can be accessed from there. So my name is listed, my email address is listed here. You can email me directly by this email address, and or you can also use the email that is within Canvas. So either way works. Maybe the emailing through Canvas has a bit of an advantage, but I'm fine with you guys contacting me either way. As far as kind of an outline as to how this is all structured, I've got office hours listed, Mondays and Wednesdays, 9 to 10, 12 to 1. The lectures for our course, Monday and Wednesday, 10 to 12. And then the laboratory is Mondays from 1 to 4. So everything's going to be online. So again, you guys are going to be watching the videos for lecture, watching the videos for lab, and then you're going to bring yourself online through ConferZoom. I will have, basically it's going to work this way, Mondays, Wednesdays, and also Fridays. So there's nothing specifically listed here for Fridays, but I will have two courses that I'm teaching this semester. I'm teaching a Physics 4B as well as Physics 4C, and if I take a look at my combined office hours, my ConferZoom hours for the two courses, I will be having ConferZoom links. That will be going on Monday and Wednesday from 7:40 in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then on Fridays, I will be available from 7:40 until noon. And so all day long Monday and Wednesday, all morning on Fridays, there are going to be times when you guys can go into Canvas, find those links for my office hours for those particular days and times, and you can come on and I will be there. So I will be available during all those times, and I'm hoping I'm hoping you guys stop by with whatever questions come up in the course. I'm hoping for sure that I'll get to know everybody in the course through ConferZoom. So stop by and let's get to know each other. The prereqs for the course are Physics 4B and Math 3C. So I'm guessing you guys have met those requirements. If there's any questions about prerequisites, whether or not they've been met, just let me know. If you guys have any concerns about your background, we can discuss those too. So stop on by. If you've got any questions at all in the course, just stop by any of those office hours. The textbook for the course is here. It's Giancolli's 4th edition, Physics for Scientists and Engineers. And many of you, maybe most of you, already have a copy of this that you've been working from for Physics 4A and Physics 4B. Now, in addition to the textbook, I am going to suggest that you should definitely get a copy of the solutions manual for the textbook. Now, there should be digital versions of this available online. I'm not actually legally supposed to be making this available to students, but it's out there, and I'm guessing, again, most of you, if not all of you, already are familiar with or have already downloaded solutions. And I think that's really important because, I've got all these office hours and where you guys can stop by and ask questions. But there's also going to be times, late at night or on the weekends when I'm not immediately available, and you just want to be able to go in and just check an answer, or you want to be able to check a step in a particular homework problem. And having the solutions manual available is going to really help with that. So that's something that you can quickly refer to. Maybe that answers your question, or maybe you still need to stop by during office hours. Now, I know that instructors are concerned that when students have a solutions manual available to them, that they'll just copy. Well, there's really no advantage to just copying from the solutions manual. So the reason you would use a solutions manual is to help your understanding of how to go in and solve problems. Okay, so that really needs to be the way that the solutions manuals are being used. So if you don't have access to that, ask around or search online or contact me, and we can track down a copy that you can work from. All right, as far as I think we talked about lectures and laboratory times, these are also going to be videos that you guys watch. There'll be videos, and then there will also be a lecture and lab slides that you can go through. And as far as the labs, you'll see what, once you watch the videos and take a look at the lab slides that I've put together and posted on Canvas, you're going to be able to see what you need to do for the course, for that portion of the course. For the homework, there's going to be an assignment for each chapter. There they are. That's a set of homework problems where if you understand how to solve these problems, these sorts of problems, these types of problems, you're going to be doing really well in the course. So that's one way to gauge how you're doing. Now, sometimes students misunderstand that as these particular problems, just kind of memorize these particular sets of problems. And it's not so much that. You want to be more flexible. And again, you guys are Physics 4C students, so you understand this. But it's not so much knowing how to memorize one particular problem as it is understanding the principles of looking at a problem and being able to go in and set up and solve particular problems that you were given. So when we get to midterms and the final exams, many of the problems on the midterm and the final exam are going to be similar in terms of the way that they're set up, but they're not going to be just duplicates of the homework problems themselves. Okay, so anyway, think more generally when you're solving these homework problems in terms of how could I change this problem around, and how would a problem like this maybe appear on a midterm or a final exam. All right, I do encourage people to work together. I think one of the best ways you guys can study is to talk about the problems and bounce ideas off classmates. Now, if you decide to try and set out on your own, that's okay too. If you are stuck just studying on your own at some point, I would almost encourage you guys just to talk to yourself. Kind of talk yourself out loud in solving the problems. Just hearing your voice and going through the exercise of trying to explain to yourself what you should be doing, I think a lot of times will help guide you through a problem. And it will help reinforce, your understanding of what you're doing. Okay, so again, that's something that I'm going to encourage you guys to do. Let's see, getting down to more schedule type things here. We're going to have 4 midterms during the semester, which corresponds to like every 4 weeks. Every 4 weeks during the semester, we'll have a midterm, and what this is showing is what will be covered on each of the midterms that we've set up. And we stay on schedule pretty well. And so you can plan for February 17th. There's going to be a midterm, chapters 32 through 35. So those first 4 chapters, which are going to deal with light, are going to be covered on the first midterm. The final exam is scheduled for May 26th, and that's going to be comprehensive. That's going to be asking you to do problems taken from the entire course. Now, as far as grades in the course, the grading is set up so that 60% of the grade will come from the 4 midterms. So I want you guys taking, I want you guys taking the midterms seriously, right? Preparing for them. If you can do really well in the midterms and really, understand what you're doing going into the midterms, that's going to take a lot of pressure off the final. If you prepare really well for the midterms and learn the material, it's going to be much easier to bring all that material back at the time of the final exam. Now, I don't drop any of the midterms. I keep them all. And so if an absolute emergency comes up and you're unable to make it to a midterm, make sure that you contact me and we'll find an alternate time, a time you could do a makeup exam. But remember, it's just for emergency situations. Don't misuse this. Just allowing yourself to fall behind in the course is not reason for delaying the midterms. We're going to stick with the schedule. Unless it's an absolute emergency that's come up, you are expected to take the midterm at the times that have been scheduled. Along with the 4 midterms, there will be a final exam. The final exam will be 20% of the grade, and then your work on the labs, your lab work, participation in lab, and your lab reports that you're handing in, those are going to make up the remaining 20% of the grade. All right, so that's the way the grades are going to be determined. This is the list of all the homework problems. Let's take a look at the schedule. Now, all this stuff is posted on Canvas, so you can track this down. You can always come back and look at, revisit the videos here as you want. But here's our schedule. We've got 16 weeks of instruction as well as finals week 17. And as you can see, for each one of the days that we have set up for the course during the semester, I've got listed on the schedule what topics, what chapters will be covered on those days. So the way it would work is this. On those days, you should be thinking, of staying caught up in the course. You want to make sure that at least by those dates, you have watched the corresponding videos. So by the time January 25th, Monday comes along, that first couple of lectures on light, first couple of hours, looking at that first chapter, you're going to want to make sure that you have watched those videos, okay? And that you're starting to work on the homework problems. As I mentioned before, the course stays pretty much on schedule. We're not going to fall behind. I'm going to stay caught up in the course. You guys are going to stay caught up in the course. And we're going to make sure that we hit all of the topics. One of the most, a disappointment for me in college was that on the first day of class, I would look at the schedule for the course and see all these really interesting topics, many of which were maybe in later chapters. And for me, at least, I was pretty excited, looking forward to all those chapters. And way too often, we never got to them. So the instructor, the professor would fall behind. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make sure that we get all of these topics looked at. We're going to stay on schedule and make sure that we meet the requirements of the course, really, in looking at all of the topics that we have set out that are required for Physics 4C. All right, I guess we're set. So again, I am really looking forward to the course. I'm looking forward to meeting each of you and talking with you through ConferZoom, maybe getting to know each other some, and really looking forward to kind of this adventure of Physics 4C.